Any joy here is fleeting. This dance could be their last. Russian soldiers, most convicts here, living it up hours before being sent to the front lines. They fight to be pardoned, but here, over half died at the front, survivors said, even some after they'd lived through the battles. Viktor Savalnev was jailed for armed robbery and assault, but taken out of prison and thrown into the worst fighting outside of Soledar. His unit, joking here before they assault a factory the next day, suffered catastrophic casualties, he told his wife. Viktor survived, but as he lay injured in hospital, he feared being dragged from his bed and executed for poor performance. This is his last message to his wife.
Я бы хотел бы вернуться назад, там, где я был. Они мне не дают. Я много очень людей потерял здесь. Это запомните, не хватит за людей. Больше хватит. Они хотят всех убить.
Days later, his wife got a closed coffin back after a call from a soldier who said Viktor had died from shrapnel injuries. He's buried here, outside Moscow. There's something very different, though, about Savalnev to many of the prisoners sent to the front line to make up for Russia's devastating casualties. Most are sent by shadowy private military contractor Wagner, who in this propaganda video are keen to portray rare survivors coming back, joyful, grateful even, and last week claimed to have stopped recruiting in prisons altogether. But Savalnev and several convicts CNN has spoken to said they were hired from jail directly by the Russian Ministry of Defense. It's a remarkable use of convicts directly by Moscow, and Ukrainian intelligence says it's captured them on the front line.
Even among Russian prisoners of war in Ukraine, there are now those recruited into the private companies of the Defense Ministry of the Russian Federation. They emphasize to us that they are not Wagner, but officially invited by the Defense Ministry. Here we hear echoes of internal squabbles in the Russian military leadership. Wagner's presence is being diluted with convicts directly controlled by the defense chiefs Shoigu and Gerasimov.
Recruitment has surged, these government figures showing a sudden 27,000 drop in the prison population last year when the scheme was just underway, with no apparent amnesty to explain it. A large proportion have died, with this Wagner training video showing one of the reckless tactics prisoners are used for, charging forwards together at the enemy. Savalnev was part of a unit called 08807, and its other frontline survivors know how hard it is to stay alive under the Ministry of Defense. We spoke to several from their hospital beds, hiding their identity. A former soldier jailed on drugs charges described being sent back twice to the front while injured.
We walk around with bullet wounds, with shrapnel stuck in our legs. No one is being operated on. We were 130 people, but have many amputees. There's probably less than 40 of us left.
Another, convicted on manslaughter, said half his unit became casualties.
We were sent to the very front. I radioed our guys that they were firing mortars at us, that they should aim a bit to the right, and they still shot at us, from both sides. Then I understood they were deliberately firing at us.
It's a recruitment scheme ensnaring whoever it can. Some aren't even Russian. In this ghoulish ceremony, Wagner honours Tanzanian student Nemes Tarimo. He was detained on drugs charges while on a study exchange here at a Red Square Christmas event in a justice system that's notoriously corrupt. His family in Tanzania said they did not even know he'd been arrested when they learned he'd been killed in the war.
Since his childhood, Nemes was a very obedient boy. He wasn't a scamp. He was a very religious person. When he was alive, we never heard about it, but now that he's dead, we are told he was arrested for drug-related offenses. It really hurts us as a family. He never even had a dream of becoming a soldier.
His body was returned closed, entombing yet another story of how life is thrown away at the front. Nick Payton-Walsh, CNN, London.